Live in quarantine from her house, here's today's host, Ashley Black.
Welcome. It's Ashley Black. We're back with another fresh live stream of the Fresh Take. Today we have a very special episode. I am joined by two special guests. The first one really needs no introduction. We all know him. We all love him. He's a wonderful president of JFF Flowers and JFF Flower Growers. My father-in-law, Michael Black. Welcome, Mike. Trying out the fun sound effects. Hi, Mike. How are you?
That's great, Ashley.
Thank you. So along with Mike, we have a very special guest today. We have our friend. She is the executive VP of the Association of Floral Importers of Florida, otherwise known as AFIF, America's Flower Connection, our good friend Christine Boldt. Welcome, Christine. Happy to have you.
Hey, Ashley. Hey, Mike.
Hey.
All right. Well, this is exciting. How are you
Good
guys
afternoon.
doing?
Nice to be with you.
Yes. Thank you. Mine's nice to have you here too. And how are you guys handling right now quarantine? How are you doing, Christine?
Well, it's always interesting whenever you need to be on the phone. That's, of course, the time that the dog starts barking, or, trying to get used to meetings on Zoom meetings and meetings over the internet all the time. Very different.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Yeah, my dog, if she could, she'd be sitting on my lap hogging the camera right now. So right now, Ryan's outside with her. We got to keep him out for this. Well, we're very excited. Yeah, we're very excited to have you here because, there's a lot that people don't know about AFIF and the association. And we think it's a really great opportunity for people to speak with someone who is, so helpful in the industry and has been doing so much for us on the back end that people don't really know about, so we wanted to have you here today to talk to those, who are involved in the industry but aren't members, and to know more about AFIF and what's going on and how we're moving forward in this situation. So I wanted to ask, while we're on the topic of it, what is AFIF? What does the association do?
The Association of Floral Importers of Florida, AFIF, America's Flower Connection, was started in 1982 as a way to get the entire industry to work together to benefit the industry for the importers that are here locally. So the association is very unique because all of the members are within a 5-mile radius of the airport. So that gives us a unique opportunity to try to work together. Mm-hmm. Our mission is to ensure the free flow of flowers. So in doing that, we work with the government, we work with the airports, we work with the local officials, and we make sure that we work with the farms in order to make sure everything flows through quickly and easily for the importers to receive the product.
If you don't mind my asking, how long have you been involved with AFIF?
I've been the executive director for the association for the last 15 years. But I have the advantage of my mother. She was one of the ones who started the association in 1982. So I had a lot of background information, not only about the association, but about how it worked and how the industry worked long before I started as the executive vice president.
Gotcha. What was it about AFIF that drew you to wanting to be involved in the association from the experience of your mom?
So the interesting thing is I worked for my mom's company for years before I started working there, and it was very easy for me to not just represent one company, but represent the whole industry.
Absolutely. And what are some of the advocacies that AFIF does that you feel benefits the industry the most, or if you want to discuss on some of the things that you guys do in the back end?
Sure. So the association always is there to represent locally, which is very important to have local representation, that we can help the importers on a basis that helps them if they ever have any questions. But also we work with Customs and Border Protection and also USDA in Washington, D.C. to make sure that we ensure the mission, which is to ensure the free flow of flowers. Making sure we have enough inspectors, or trying to make sure we have additional inspectors here for the holidays. Making sure that we can try to improve the process of importing and having the inspectors, which is Customs and Border Protection, do the process of inspecting the flowers in an expeditious manner, but also to make sure that they ensure their mission, which is to protect the borders of the United States. We work with USDA. USDA gets involved if there are pests that are found. Obviously, no one likes to have pests. We want to reduce the number of pests. So I work very closely with the countries of origin to try to have them make sure that they reduce the number of pests that are coming from the farms. If we reduce the number of pests, the inspections will go faster. We won't have any processes in Miami that are extra other than having them inspected, and we can move the product through faster. We work with the airport and the airlines to make sure that they are doing the processes as quick as possible, to make sure that the importers can get in, pick up the products, and get out in a quick manner. Right now, we have an issue where we have duties that we're paying on products from Ecuador, roses, which is the #1 import from Ecuador. So we've been working for the last 2 years and trying to work with USTR, the administration, and trying to get roses, no matter where they come from in the world, if they enter the United States, they would be duty free. So that's a big project that we've been working on, and trying to maintain the opportunity for us to get good product from all over the world, but also in an equitable manner, that when it does arrive to Miami, mainly where all the flowers are coming into, that they are able to compete with the market.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that answer. How has the U.S. Customs Border Patrol been handling this situation with social distancing? Are they operating with less hours? Are they behind on clearances? What's the status over there?
Yeah, so Customs and Border Protection is in the same boat as most other companies. They have a certain number of inspectors and a certain number of employees. Well, during this time of COVID-19, there are a lot of employees who have either become sick or have been exposed to people that are sick, that now have to take the 14-day quarantine and be out. So unfortunately, they have less staff than they normally do. And because in Miami, we have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year inspections, which is different than anywhere else in the United States. It usually provides us a good opportunity to move the products through quickly. But in this time, if a lot of the employees are out sick, it cuts back on the number of inspectors that they have per shift. So they've had a significant number that are out sick. And of course, the federal government provides any company nowadays with a lot of protection if you are sick or if you have been exposed to people who are sick. So it creates an issue of having lesser number of employees. The other thing is that normally during the holidays, we have a large additional volume of inspectors that come in from all over the country. With the travel ban, they're not allowed to come this year. So the 15 normal additional inspectors we get for the holiday are not going to be here. The fortunate part is that from the passenger side, because there are less passenger planes, some of those cargo inspectors can come in and come over to the cargo side and help out during the holiday. So there will be less inspectors, and they're doing the best that they can to work within the parameters that they have, but they have to have masks, social distancing. They have to provide all of the same things any company that's working has to provide for protection of the employees. So even as far as two inspectors driving together in the same car, the same location, there are a lot of inspectors are afraid. So it's creating additional resources in order to just do the volume that we do have coming in.
Interesting. How with our other members, are they raising concerns with Mother's Day? Is there a change in what they're trying to do? Do they want to continue moving forward with the holiday and push, or how is this going with the rest of the members?
So the good thing for the industry is once this started happening, we have weekly calls with all the general associations that are in the flower industry, and we try to talk about opportunities for us to make sure the retailers, the supermarkets, or the importers and growers, we want to make sure that we provide benefits and information to them. So at the beginning, there were a lot of companies who made decisions quickly, and I'm talking about the wholesalers and the retailers, to close their doors. We found this week that there are a lot of them, they're coming back and challenging their restrictions in their markets and opening their doors. So this is going to give us an opportunity to be in more places for Mother's Day. So we won't have a normal Mother's Day because the entire country is not open, but supermarkets, mass markets, and some retailers, and of course, online service providers are able to provide flowers on a daily, weekly basis, even during this COVID-19. It has created a hardship for the farms and the importers because it was from one day to the next, the closure happened, and it created a real issue for us because we weren't able to plan for it. But we are moving forward. The industry feels that they're going to have a Mother's Day. It won't be what it normally is, but with more wholesalers and retailers continuing to open starting this week, they feel that there will be a ramp up from where we are currently. We just people will buy flowers and not necessarily only consider the necessities that they need, that they will have an opportunity to buy flowers. They're in supermarkets, they're in mass markets, they're online, and the retailers that are open will have flowers.
Yeah. Oh, well, he wants flowers too, right? The baby in the background sure wants flowers. He agrees. Mike, do you have anything you want to say about that with Mother's Day and how they're moving forward, and maybe how JFF is moving forward?
That's good.
I think that, historically Mother's Day, if you can't have a good Mother's Day, you should hang your flower hat up and give it, just go the other direction. I think this Mother's Day, I think it's going to be for Miami. I think it's going to be up to the individual owners and managers to decide how much of a ramp up they want to do, and how safe or how much risk they want to take. The importers here in Miami that are focused on mass markets and supermarkets and internet fulfillment and things like that, they need a lot of people. They need a lot of people to get the job done, and I think that it's going to be way more difficult for them to operate. But I'm sure these are professionals; they know what they're doing, and they'll get the job done. There's definitely labor available where there's usually not in Miami. Labor a month ago was almost impossible to find. Mm-hmm. Now there is available labor, unfortunately, because of all the layoffs that's gone on. And so I think that companies like mine that are not supermarket focused, it's risky for us. It's more risky for us because we have to speculate and we have to bring flowers in that may or may not be sold. But I think we'll do a little bit more than what we're doing right now. But I'd want to go on the conservative side. I think it's just safer that way for me.
Yeah. Christine, is there anything you want to say, or do you feel like
what the industry is asking for is for the supermarkets to have less number of SKUs, basically less number of different opportunities. So if a supermarket or a mass market might normally have 10 different opportunities for consumers to buy, maybe there'll only be 5 in the store this time, because the industry has asked along the lines of what Mike said, that there's less staff. It starts at the farm all the way through. They have to do social distancing. They have to have the ability to have 2 or 3 shifts doing what they normally would do in one shift. So it's creating an issue for the farms and the importers to not be able to provide all of the different opportunities. So they're trying to cut down and asking the supermarkets, instead of taking so many, take 2 or 3. So there's still opportunities for consumers to have flowers, just not as many different types.
Yeah, I mean, and
What you means, Ashley, is like if you go to a supermarket floral department, in the mixed bouquet category, you might have 5 or 6 different price points.
mm-hmm.
Maybe they're focusing maybe on the most popular price points and not spreading it out too heavy. And I can imagine in the warehouse and logistics of the supermarkets themselves, they're focused on food and supplies. They're not really focused and geared up just for flowers for Mother's Day. So I would imagine that they need their resources in their trucks to have less flowers on the truck going to each store, so they could put more toilet paper and more Lysol wipes and all the things that nobody can find. Maybe I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I would assume the buyers are buying that way.
Yeah, it's very important. I mean, you know, if the goal is to still have flowers available,
Correct.
at least, you know, you have to have manpower and to be able to do this safely. You know, there are things that are more important, like you said, like toilet paper and produce and food and such. So if we can still have flowers, even if it's not as much of a variety, that's still a win. That's still a win. And Mom absolutely would be so appreciative of this. So.
But it's springtime, and in supermarkets, it's springtime. It's not just cut flowers. They're loading up on plants and bedding plants and hanging baskets and potting soil, just all kinds of different associated things that have to do with the floral department, not just cut flowers. So I think they have less people working in the floral department, if they have anybody at all.
Mike is absolutely correct. And from what we're hearing from the supermarkets, the bedding plants or the indoor plants, especially the indoor plants, are actually suffering more because it's very labor intensive for them to put the indoor plants in the stores. And any of them that used to have bedding plants and all of that are right now discounting or not having those because it takes so much labor. And they can't have people outside and inside. It's very difficult. So we're hearing from the supermarkets, again, they want to have fresh cut flowers in the stores, and they will have indoor. They just won't have as much as they normally do.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Man, I didn't even think about that. There's millions of square foot of greenhouses up and down the east coast of the United States that I know that are loaded with plants. And that's I didn't even think about that. That's really sad. I didn't know that, but that makes sense.
Are there other challenges that you find that the industry is encountering? Other things that people aren't talking about, but that we should know?
I think Mike touched on one of them, and that's the trucking side of it. Especially at the very beginning of this, there were a lot of trucks who had to segment or go towards where the business was, and the business was to move products that the consumers wanted right away off the shelves. Mm-hmm. So there were trucks that ended up spending 2 or 3 days just trying to deliver products to distribution centers because there just wasn't enough staff in the distribution centers, and they were more worried about getting the toilet paper, the Lysol wipes, the chicken, the bread on the shelves than they were about anything else. So things have calmed down a little bit. People aren't panic buying anymore, but it does create issues because the trucks, they make money too if they're on the road moving products that are necessary. So are they switching to products that are more needed? I think that's stabling out a little bit now, but it was a concern at the very beginning.
Gotcha. That's good to know. Going back to AFIF, are you still encouraging new members and trying to put out more information and just keep the industry more informed?
Yeah, so this is the time where companies that are not members, this is a real opportunity for the industry and the association to shine. Because a lot of times when things are going along easily, people forget how things get done. But in times like this, when I get phone calls from companies that are not members, the first thing I say to them is, if you were a member, you would be getting this information on a weekly basis. So it is an opportunity for them to realize where the information comes from, who does it, and hopefully give them an opportunity to join in and participate. The association can do so much more if we have more members. The association is limited in the resources that we have in order to accomplish what we can. And we try to do the best and the most that we can for our members. But the more members we have, the more power we have, not only in resources, but in also in providing opportunities to get things done. Because if you represent, 90 to 100% of the industry versus we feel we represent about 75% of the industry, it gives us a better voice in order to get more things done. And, unfortunately, resources mean a lot in times where being able to go to Washington and put more power behind what we're trying to do, or locally be able to try to get more things accomplished. We continually, during this COVID time, the board has really stepped up, and we have meetings every 2 days about what's happening in the industry. Is there something more that we need to do? We need to make sure that Ecuador, our main sources, need more support, trying to make sure that our employees are covered by whatever they need to do, making sure the members have the best information about opportunities for loans. Anything there is out there, we want to make sure that the members are able to do what they need to do and can continue on even past this hard time we're in.
Definitely, because I would say that the industry already benefits greatly from what you do, all the lobbying and just the work with all these important agencies and such in the U.S. and really just the relationships. I would say that the industry is benefiting even if they aren't members, and it would be a mistake to not be a part of this and to be able to grow further because of how much is already being done for them. You're already showing, right, what it is that can be offered. So it's like, with this kind of initiative and this advocacy, you can take it so much further, like you were saying, and to be able to represent 100% is such a huge opportunity. Mike, do you want to say anything about AFIF and how much this has helped us?
Christine's not going to like what I got to say about that, but I've been saying it for a while now, and it's true. I think that you don't have to be in Miami to be an importer, right? I mean, everyone around the United States and Canada that I know is buying directly in farms, and including supermarkets, and they're benefiting from the hard work that Christine does. They're benefiting from that. And all what Christine was saying in the beginning about all these extra inspectors and people flying in from other cities to help support the tsunami of flowers that comes in a short period of time through Miami International Airport. Christine's hard work they're getting that benefit. And so that's why I always advocate for anybody whether you're importing 1 box or 1,000 boxes, it doesn't really matter. You're an importer, and you should think about joining AFIF to help yourself. It doesn't just help, you can help yourself by being a member. And when I first went in business, the minute I had enough money to invest into something, the very first thing was I joined AFIF. Didn't have to. I could have just, gone around my business. I think that because I've been a member and because Christine has always been there every time I've called her with any kind of problem that has to do with import, not just with import, but also with the trucking lines that are leaving Miami, with all kinds of different things. She's always been there. She always answers the phone. She always responds. And if you have a concern or you have a problem, she always promises to run it up the flagpole and bring it to the board. So I feel like, some of these supermarkets are the biggest importers ever, and they ain't members, and they should be. That's all I want to say about that. Sorry, Chris. Sorry.
More is more, absolutely.
No, I completely agree, Mike, and I completely agree, and I feel that we have provided additional opportunities for some of the wholesalers that are importing directly to be a member. So we hope that the opportunity to do that.
And can they get all that information on your website? If they want to join, will they just go online? Is it simple to sign up?
They can just call me, and we can talk about it. I can provide them with the information, and they can join.
Okay, perfect.
I want to add to that too, Chris. It's not a contract, right? So if you join and you don't find value later on, you could just say, "Hey, thank you anyway," but I'm not going to participate anymore, right?
Absolutely, and we find that most companies that do join find a value within the first couple months, and they continue to stay members.
That's more than one reason to already invest. That's wonderful. To learn more about AFIF, it's AFIFnet.org. And you can find all sorts of information about the association, as well as a way to contact Christine, get in touch with her. If you have any questions specifically, she's still available.
Hey, Ashley,
yes.
one more thing about becoming a member. You know, over the years, I get these emails from random farms around the world, you know, offering their flowers to me, and they get that information of who to contact from the AFIF website because it lists the membership. So, you know, if you're a wholesaler importing yourself and you're looking for more farms and stuff like that, they'll find you. They'll find you through if you can't get it to trade shows, or if you know, I've gotten some great connections from just a random email that came through from a grower somewhere, that really it was just only because they copied every single member on in the list. But I mean, I have made some really good contacts from that.
That's wonderful, and that's why AFIF has become America's Flower Connection as well. That's like their tagline that they've coined. So I think that's wonderful. Christine, is there anything else you want to say? I'm sorry, Emma.
No, I really appreciate this opportunity, and of course, you know, Jeff Fresh Flowers being a member of AFIF is always, you know, been a pleasure. You guys are great to work with. In this time of social distancing and time of where we can't get together with everybody, here's a huge opportunity. Everyone, we see stuff all the time. If everyone wants to thank someone and think, well, what better way to thank people than with flowers? So even if you can't give them to them in person, you can leave them on the doorstep. You can leave a note with a small bouquet on their doorstep. You can hand it off. You can have it delivered. You can pick up bouquets in the supermarket. But let's use the healing power of flowers for people to know that flowers are a benefit for them in their homes, in their lives, and to give and receive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In these times, we need to uplift each other and just remind that we will see a light of this tunnel, and that better days are to come, and we're going to make the most of it because we're still here, and that's all that we can do. I'm very grateful for both of your times. Mike, is there anything else you want to say as well? Or
just thanks, Chris. Thank you for everything you've done for me. Thank you very much. I'm forever in your debt. Thank you.
No, and thank you for your continued support.
Always. We appreciate you guys. And thank you all for staying tuned. Everybody on Facebook watching us live. I want to just give a couple shout outs. Juan Naranjo, Nana Albana from North Carolina, just a couple people. Thank you guys so much for staying tuned. And just look out for the next episode of The Fresh Take. Until next time. If you need any information from us directly about AFIF, we can also provide to you as well. But again, AFIFnet.org is where you can find your information. All right, guys, until next time, thank you all again. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful one. Stay safe. Bye, everyone.